Hi, this is Laura again. Today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that concerns citizens all over the country are joining the resistance to what the sexual radical left calls comprehensive sex education or CSE. Some of the items that I will talking about are being taught in schools today but should only be taught by parents to their kids. For this reason, I suggest that if you are watching this video with your children, you should stop the video here and watch it only when your children are not around. There may be material discussed in this video that is not appropriate for your children. To provide a little background on this topic, we are highlighting a group of concerned parents out of the state of Washington. They describe themselves as a coalition of parents dedicated to fighting comprehensive sex education in our schools and legislation that infringes on their parental rights. They point out that 58 of participants in a statewide survey said they do not want CSE mandated in the schools. But the Democrats controlling the state legislature are ignoring the will of the people and implementing this anyway. Currently, Washington state legislators have introduced 4 bills to mandate CSE to every school in Washington, grades K-12. While districts will not be mandated to use one particular curriculum, they provide examples from each of the most popular choices. Make no mistake, they are all bad. Just because I am using the state of Washington as an example does not mean that similar things are not being taught in other public schools throughout the country. What we are talking about here is going on in schools in other school districts in the country or may soon be implemented in your child's school. We are not against sexual education, but we are absolutely against the inappropriate, pleasure-based components within CSE that we feel harm our children. Elementary-age children do not need to learn about masturbation and other pleasure-oriented sex techniques. Teens should not be told that the pull-out method is more effective than they think. Kids should not be taught that sexting is as innocent as watching a movie together with friends of the opposite sex. Schools should not be suggesting co-bathing also as an alternative. We maintain that because CSE is not appropriate for any child, it should not be given as an option to opt in or opt out. Many parents reject the Washington's legislature false attempt at appeasement by offering to allow kids to opt out because we know that is never truly an option. It is impossible to guarantee that subjects will not be brought up in other classes and one can never opt out from the talk amongst students. Opt out just doesn't work. Not only does the Sexual Health Education Program Supervisor for the state of Washington want to teach your children about sexual pleasure, she wants to weave comprehensive sexual education into other subject areas throughout the school week. It is good that parents are opposing CSE. But really, any sex education in the schools should be opposed. All any high school student needs is a basic human physiology class. Many conservatives don't grasp that allowing anything beyond that opens the door to abuse by Planned Parenthood and LGBT activist messages being presented in the name of safety. But the capitulation to good sex ed came long ago. And so, we've arrived at the sexualized school culture described by 2 young girls. They went to the Washington State House on February 20th to testify against SB 5395. Which would make CSE mandatory in all public schools. These 8th grade girls were subjected in earlier grades to a curriculum called Flash, Family Life, and Sexual Health. Planned Parenthood has contributed materials to that CSE curriculum. In grades 4 to 6, for example, boys and girls in class together will learn to properly name their genitals. They will fill in a worksheet including the terms circumcision, conception, ejaculation, erection, genitals, intercourse, nocturnal emission, semen, sperm, etc. It's a great way to break down modesty and get young children thinking and talking about sex during the school day. Here's just one paragraph from the Flash curriculum for grades 4 to 6. Intercourse is the kind of sexual touch when the penis is in the vagina. It is sometimes called vaginal intercourse or lovemaking. Lovemaking can mean different things to different people. For example, for some, it might be anal intercourse. Ejaculation is what you call it when semen, the fluid-carrying sperm, comes out of the penis. If the boy ejaculates during intercourse, or even if he ejaculates onto her labia, without ever putting the penis inside, sperm can swim up into her uterus and pregnancy may occur. It is no wonder little boys are grabbing at the girls' crotches during recess. Sources with the Washington group preserved the testimony of the 2 8th grade girls that they plan to give during the February 20th hearing. Though they weren't allowed to testify before the Education Committee at the February 20th hearing, they read their statements afterward at the State House. They described how the whole school culture was changed because of the sex ed. Here's what the first girl described, said,
I'd like to tell you what the sex education curriculum has done to our school in the last couple of years. Feeling violated is our new norm. Sexual harassment is the new norm. Lack of respect is the new norm. Graphic details, pornographic images, and inappropriate assignments have become a part of every day. Sex has now become the main topic of every conversation from the start of the school day to the end. Boys make lewd and demeaning comments and it's treated like no big deal. After all, it's just our homework, right? This is very confusing and the whole culture in our school has turned toxic, especially to girls. Imagine if your classroom activity for the day was to play bingo with words like sperm, erection, and ejaculation and your homework was to look up penis too large on the internet. This is disturbing and very embarrassing, but I don't get to say no. I don't get to have boundaries. The lines between sexual harassment and sex ed class are very blurry. Think about this, it is now okay for male teachers to talk to us about sex and every aspect of it when just a few years ago that would have gotten them fired. And if a boy tells us to look up page 34, is that harassment or discussion about homework? Where is the line? We have lost our ability to advocate for ourselves and demand better. Sex is very private and should be handled with respect. But that's not happening in our schools. We deserve safe boundaries, and we need you to provide them. After all, we have to live with the laws you pass. Please vote no on this bill and protect our dignity.
The testimony of the second girl also was provided and told of her experience with CSE and what it had done to her. Listen carefully as she relates her experience and how the course influenced her school life and how she was treated as a result.
In 6th grade, our school started the flash curriculum. I will never forget the day our male teacher taught us what intercourse was. That was mortifying. We had to sit and hear very personal things with boys constantly joking about it. It made me feel violated like I was just an object. Since the sex ed curriculum started, those kinds of things go on all year long. Sexual comments are common. Boys will even grab girls' butts at school, including mine. When addressed, they simply move on to someone else. I want it to stop, but if you say anything you are made fun of and no one takes you seriously. This is wrong, but everyone seems to just accept it and girls suffer in silence. Sexual harassment is being tolerated and actually encouraged by the culture that has been fueled by sex being in every day at school. Girls already have a hard time being respected and having sex discussed every day just makes it hard. I, and many others, prefer to have these sensitive discussions at home with those we trust, not in front of our peers and teachers. And by the way, opting out is not really an option. Anyone who does that gets teased and bullied even more. This really should be an elective class that you choose to take. Why can't it be that way? We should have a choice. In my other class, we are learning about our First Amendment rights. I am supposed to have the right to exercise my religious freedom, yet every day I am being forced to go against it in order to pass a class. I am a pastor's daughter. Where are my rights? Where is my right to have safe boundaries? I don't want this mandated on me, and I certainly can't imagine making younger kids go through this. Today I ask you to guarantee that all kids' voices are heard. Please vote no and give us a real choice, a choice to keep our honor.
How do your kids feel if this is going on in their school? Do they have similar feelings? Are they telling you that these discussions are going on at their school? It is time for parents to get more involved in the education, or should I say indoctrination, going on at their child's school. Although CSE is one of only several topics that are being introduced to indoctrinate children in progressive thought today, it is one of the most damaging. It destroys Christian kids and goes against everything they are being taught in their church or at home about who created them, what marriage is, and the purpose of sex in a Christian home. Parents across the country are standing up against the teaching of comprehensive sex education in their child's classrooms. More and more parents are attending school board meetings to voice their opinion on the things being taught to their children in the classroom. Real committed parents understand that the school boards are dominated by leftists who are pushing progressive teachings in their child's classroom. For the first time in a long time, Christian and conservative parents are running for the school board to change the direction of schools in their area. If you are interested in running for school board, visit Nehemiah Reset, who is dedicated to shining the light on these non-Christian ideas being pushed by local school boards. Visit their website at nehemiahreset.org and clicking on the Training and Resource menu item to find information about topics being taught in our public schools like critical race theory, the 1619 Project, Black Lives Matter, and more. If you think you might be interested in running for a school board position, go to nehemiahreset.org/school strategies to get ideas on strategies you can use to win your election. Thanks for listening and hope to see you again soon.